Hey gang, welcome to this week's edition of High Value Publishing. My name is Eric Schoenfeld with Nearview Media. And in today's session, we're going to talk about how to create an AI-generated podcast. Now, I hear all you out there saying, first of all, why a podcast? If I'm a publisher, a magazine, why should I do a podcast? First of all, it's a convenient way for readers to follow you. You push out a lot of content, especially if you're a little more news oriented with this, or you're a consumer site that has a lot of content. You may be pushing out multiple stories in a day, or multiple stories a week. It's a convenient way for readers to be able to follow you and keep up on what you're doing. Think of it like an audio email newsletter, just another way for me to stay up to date with what's going on with you guys here. It's also a new revenue stream when you can grow it big enough. But the key is you've got to kind of do it well. You got to do it on a regular basis. And that's where the AI comes into this, and how artificial intelligence can help us create a daily or weekly, whatever your frequency is, audio podcast summary of everything that you've written thus far. It's pretty easy to implement. Once you've got the setup going, after the setup is there, then it's pretty straightforward after that point there. So before we get into this, I want to make sure to encourage you to subscribe. Go to nearviewmedia.com. That's our website. Sign up for my email newsletter out there, because when we send out emails, typically once a week, usually with these kinds of sessions in there, and all of our previous sessions of high value publishing, they're available out in our blog podcast section on the website. So go out there, visit that. And any links that we mention here in these episodes are all posted with each session on the website. Finally, these are available as podcasts. So if you're watching it on the website or on YouTube, you can also follow us on Apple, Google, Spotify, whatever your favorite podcasting platform is. And finally, if you're watching us on YouTube, hey, would you do me a favor? Just like the video, click the subscribe button, the little bell, and leave a comment on there. It really just helps us grow that channel. And I would appreciate that so much. So let's dive in. Let's talk about, first of all, we've all seen these text-to-speech widgets on certain websites. Like this is one on The Atlantic that I was reading earlier today. And, you can click this little button up here and it'll play back the audio version of this article, right? It's text-to-speech, or TTS. So it's audio playback of specific articles. Typically, this is automated, right? You don't have to do anything here. You can just embed this little widget. It reads in your RSS feed or whatever feed you want, creates the audio version, and then just embeds it back on your site. So this is typically all completely automated using AI voice processing. Companies like Amazon Polly, so Amazon's text-to-speech engine is called Polly, or Beyond Words are some of the more popular ones out there that will do this. The problem is they just don't get much usage. I've implemented this for a couple different publishers, and we got some usage of it, but most people, when they're reading an article, just want to read the article. They don't really want to listen to the article in this format. It's not convenient. It's not like I'm getting it as a podcast on my device. And even if it was a podcast, for every article, would I want to get 5 articles a day if you're posting five podcast episodes a day? What we really want is maybe one podcast episode a day that recaps all the stories that I posted in the last 24 hours or so. Besides these text-to-speech articles, they can get expensive over time because we usually publish quite a bit of content. But yeah, we want to have like one daily podcast that summarizes all the content I publish, right? So what if we could publish a podcast of all my recent stories, maybe on a daily basis, maybe on a weekly basis, and have it all be completely done via AI? And what if it could all be completely automated? How about that? Well, we have the technology. It can be done. This can be done today. It's pretty doggone slick. And I'm going to show you exactly how we are able to create an audio podcast, a daily summary or weekly summary of your articles, and push it out. So here's the basic process. It's going to start with a feed from your website, right? An RSS feed, which most all of us have an RSS feed from our website, especially if we're on WordPress. Then we're going to use something like ChatGPT. You could use other tools, but I like ChatGPT in specific. I'll show you why, to create a podcast script. And then we're going to take that script, we're going to put it in a text-to-speech tool. That'll give us an audio file, and then we'll put that audio file in the podcast platform, whatever your podcast platform of choice is, and that's going to push it out to Apple, Spotify, Google, and even give you direct embeds that you can put on your own website, right? That's it. That's the process. That's how it's going to work. So let's talk first of all about your RSS feed. So for most of us who are on WordPress, if you just add /feed to your website, you can see what your RSS feed looks like, right? So here's Providence Business News, pbn.com/feed. Here's their RSS feed. This will usually list the most recent posts to your site, unless you've got it configured to do something different. You want to make sure that you're using an RSS feed from your site that has the right feed of content that we're going to want to put into this audio podcast. In this case here, this is just all the latest stories, no matter what category they're in. But this is also all the latest information from Providence Business News. So it has all the information we need. It has the headline, has the summary, has the date it was posted, has all the information that we need. So we take that RSS feed, and now I'm going to throw it into ChatGPT. So I'm going to go actually through my exact queries that I worked out with ChatGPT. Now I've since refined this and got it down to a single kind of query because I've trained up a little avatar within ChatGPT that can instantly create these for me. But I'm going to walk through the process I did to get to the output I wanted, and now I can just put in one query and boom, it generates these for me. So I asked ChatGPT, hey, look at the following RSS feed and put together a list of stories from the feed that have been published in the past 24 hours. Show the headline and a 2-sentence summary of each story. Now, guess what I forgot to do? ChatGPT said, hey, give me the URL of the RSS feed. I was like, oh yeah, whoops. Here's the URL of the RSS feed. So ChatGPT was like, thanks. Hey, I'm going to use this plugin called Link Reader, which you can enable in ChatGPT if you have a paid account. And it output this list of stories, right? So output, I think there's like 5 stories or 6 stories that I output here, and gave me this little list of stories. I thought, well, this is nice. We're getting closer to what I want. I said, okay, this is nice, but rewrite this list as an audio podcast. And so I got all excited and said, hey, absolutely, I can do that for you. Here's a script for an audio podcast. Dramatic intro music. Host, welcome to Providence Business News Daily. I'm your host name. Today we're diving into top stories from Rhode Island. Let's get started. Transition sound effect. Host, our first headline. Right? So it literally output it as a whole production notes and script. I'm like, okay. So this is a great start, but please get rid of any references to the host and get rid of the music and sound effect notes. Just keep it as a script that a host would read without any production notes. So ChatGPT, all excited, said, of course. Here's the revised script without any production notes, and here's what came out. Welcome to the Providence Business News Daily Roundup. Today, we're diving into the top stories from Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts. First up, Rhode Island Free Clinic welcomes new medical director. Dr. Melinda Delaney has stepped in as a new medical director for Rhode Island Free Clinic. I looked at this, I'm like, ba-boom and cha-ching. This is what I'm looking for. This is exactly the way I would read it out if I were reading this as an audio script, but I didn't do anything. Literally, I've got this down now to a single query where I can just say, hey, output a podcast script of the stories from the last 24 hours from this website, from this URL, from this RSS feed, and boom, it does it. It gives it to me right there. It's perfect. It works well. It's awesome. So then I take this ChatGPT script I just copied and I pasted it into Amazon Polly, and here's what we got.
Providence Business News Daily Roundup for October 9th, 2023. Today, we're diving into the top stories from Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts. First up, Rhode Island Free Clinic welcomes new medical director. Dr. Melinda Delaney has stepped in as the new medical director for the Rhode Island Free Clinic. She began her role on September 1st, succeeding Dr. Ross Hilliard, who has now taken a position at Maine Medical Center. Moving on to a conversation with Ann Brown. As flu season intensifies, CVS Health Corporation is rolling out the latest COVID-19 vaccines.
Okay, so that was okay. I mean, Amazon Poly can only output in one voice. So then I went to Beyond Words, which I think may actually use the Amazon API. I'm not sure. The voices sound the same. And then I said, hey, let's alternate this. Let's use two different voices to kind of set the stories apart and not make it quite so boring. So I just took the exact same script that ChatGPT wrote for me and put it into Beyond Words. And here's what I got.
Welcome to the Providence Business News Daily Roundup for October 9th, 2023. Today, we're diving into the top stories from Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts.
First up, Rhode Island Free Clinic welcomes new medical director. Dr. Melinda Delaney has stepped in as the new medical director for the Rhode Island Free Clinic. She began her role on September 1st, succeeding Dr. Ross Hilliard, who has now taken a position at Maine Medical Center.
Moving on to a conversation with Ann Brown. As flu season intensifies.
Okay, so you get the idea. I think there's like 20 or 30 different voices I could use on Beyond Words. There are in Amazon Poly as well. Beyond Words, it's like $89 a month or something like that if you're going to use it. But the idea here is, all right, this actually would be something that I think people would listen to. Granted, again, it still sounds a little AI-ish. I get that, but it's getting pretty doggone good. And for me, just hey, tell me what, listen once a day, listen as I'm driving into work or taking the train or whatever it may happen to be, and listen to the Providence Business News Daily Update podcast. That's pretty slick. And even at the end of it, the script automatically said, hey, for more stories like these, please visit pbn.com and subscribe to our email newsletter, which I thought was sweet. So I can see this begin to build up a large following over time. And then people are going to find more detail and more information. They're going to go to the PBN website. They're going to sign up for the newsletter. And then ultimately you could build up a whole other distribution channel. So once this is all done, you take that audio and then you plug it into your favorite podcasting platform. I personally like Buzzsprout. I think it's one of the simplest ones out there, one of the more powerful ones out there. So I just plug it into Buzzsprout, and then it automatically pushes it to Apple, pushes it to Google, pushes it to Spotify, pushes it to every platform known to man out there. And then it can even create me a little widget I can embed on my website, either for a single episode or for multiple episodes. I can begin to promote it. Now, this becomes something that I think is much more interesting. This becomes almost like another channel. So when I'm publishing to my website, I can now push it out through social media. I can push it out through news aggregators. I could push it out maybe through my iOS and Android app. I could do website notifications. I could do a daily email newsletter. I can now also even do a daily podcast summary of all the stories that have been posted to my site the day before. I think this is pretty dang cool. So the next step is full automation. I'm already working on this right now. I don't have it yet. Right now, it's still semi-automated, right? We can take the RSS feed. I've just got a little quick ChatGPT script, creates the thing for me. I copy paste that into Beyond Words. I download the audio and I put it into podcast. That's just a quick little couple step process that any production person could do on a daily basis, without maybe in 5 minutes. It takes them 5 minutes to do it. But I'm working right now on a process for this to be fully automated, where you don't have to do jack. It just automatically, I say, hey, every Monday, whatever days I want, maybe it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, maybe it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, pick up the stories from the previous day and automatically create a podcast. I'm working on that right now and the ways to do that. Haven't got it worked out yet, but once it's done, it's complete world domination. So I am excited about this. I thought I'd want to share this with you. Some cool things with AI. I am taking a deep dive into AI over the past several months here. And I'm going to be releasing some more information on how AI affects publishers. Again, not just chat GPT scripts that you could use, but literally how AI is going to impact publishers. Wait till we get into what's happening with Google search and chat bots like from Google, like Bard, and what's happening on that whole front of things and how that's going to affect you guys down in the future. It's exciting. There's lots of changes. It's going to be disruptive. But us as publishers, if we can adapt, it's going to be positive. So we'll be excited about that. In the meantime, get those podcasts out, create an AI generated podcast, and move on to world domination. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.